Yeah, he asked me to drop him the link because I was just playing games with him.
Neato.
I kind of took today off due to my sister having friends over. Um,
We are live, by the way.
yeah, no, that's fine. I thank you for the heads up, but yeah, no. I just decided to kind of take the day off because, you know, I didn't want to work with a bunch of screaming kids running around the house. So I'm like, whatever.
No, that's understandable.
Yeah. One day of makeup work ain't that bad.
Hey, everybody out there.
Oh,
Right
yeah,
up the
sorry
top.
for that.
Right
Go
up
ahead.
top, I want to give a shout out to Vampy. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for popping in. Tonight it's just going to be me working on this. Dakota's here to
Hi.
keep me company, keep me sane. Thanks to Trolling Toe for the follow as well.
Are you
Close.
laughing because he doesn't have the N
Yeah.
at the end? Me, yeah, I laughed when I saw that too.
Hell yeah!
But yeah, sorry for the very beginning being me talking about my boring ass shit. So,
Oh no, that's what this stream's all about. It's just whatever, man.
boring ass shit, great. Yeah, as usual when I don't join in with Travis, the tradition has been I'm either sick or working on work that's NDA, and it is the latter this time. So, I'm gonna make Travis do all the hard work, and I'm just here to mumble, so I can force him to carry conversations.
And we'll see how that goes. I am.
Are you not confident in your mumbling, or you're talking?
Carrying a conversation? Man, I am beat today.
Rough day at work?
Yeah.
Sorry, let me
Work
just
was-
think and we'll ponder if there's a more generic thing I could have fucking asked you. My God.
Is that, but part of it I kind of did to myself. Like, work was especially, I don't know, just ran into some issues there, and it was really
Right.
busy. But I was also just dead tired because I went to go see MC Chris at Red Flag last night.
Why does he sound? You've talked about this person before, right?
I might not have. You might know him through Aquatine.
Oh,
he
oh, yeah,
voices
yeah.
MCP Pants.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That lines up.
Oof,
I
yeah.
was like, I knew it sounded familiar.
This resolution from the old image. I think I said at the end of the stream that I realized I had been drawing in a really low DPI the entire time, so this looks
So did you-
rough.
You scaled it up, didn't you?
I started a new canvas.
But did you like enlarge the old stuff? It looks pixelated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, I had a nightmare scenario where I've had to do that on finished work a couple times.
Oh no.
Yeah, luckily that was when I was in school, so it was like, ooh. And my DPI wasn't far off. I
That's
think
good.
one of my teachers was chill and like let me get away with it because I kind of bullshitted my way. I was like, look, Jan, all I'm saying is 400 DPI is printable. I know this. I know it says more, but you could print this. And she, she kind of thought about it. And she's like, you know what, you can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only working in 450 right now, but that's a big step up from 72.
Oh my god, dude, you need to eliminate the fucking pixel art preset because this is like the third time.
No,
Maybe
this is a different issue entirely. Just a bunch of small oversights in other areas.
God, that's rough. That's digital art for you, man. Yeah, 450 is plenty. Like, you only need to do 600. Honestly, almost 450 even. You only need to go around that area if you're doing like wallpaper.
Yeah.
Maybe a print, but even that's kind of like, stop being obnoxious.
Vampy says they're so gassy.
Gassy vampires.
Yeah, can't eat chips.
I drink
Gotta
some
eat.
bad blood.
That could be it.
Imagine that each vampire just gets a blood type that makes them gassy, so they have to be choosy. It's like that's the only thing that saves your ass one night is you happen to be the blood type that vampire can't process. IBS for the undead.
I'm O-negative intolerant.
I just can't. I hate that letter, man.
Oh?
Yeah, I just can't stand it. Wait, what's that one band called? Is it O positive? Or type O negative or something?
Type O negative.
Man, I remember when I first got into, and this is some fucking like borderline boomer shit I'm about to be on, so if you're not into it in chat, bear with me. I remember hearing about type O negative and how hyped up they were, and I'm like, this is when I was just getting into metal, and everyone's like, dude, they're such a good band, and like, I had recently discovered prog, and I'm like, yeah, this feels like it's right up my alley. Everyone's saying exactly what I want to hear. And it's like that pitfall, especially with metal, where it like checks all the boxes of everything you like, but you just don't understand that the genre is just inherently different. I put that stuff on, I'm like, this is not for me. And I looked down at what I had bought, and I got like the best of that was 2 CDs and $30, and you know, this is when I was young and didn't have an income, and I'm just like, oh, I fucked up so bad.
Oof.
I just remember, like, that's one of the only times I've ever had, like, buyer's and it's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, I'm only, like, tertiarily familiar with Type O Negative. So I'm like, sounds like a goth band.
Who knows? If I listen to him again today, I might, but I doubt it. There's been tons of music I hated, and then come back to a couple years later, and I love, like, Dance Gavin Dance was one of them.
Gradient, no, we're not playing ball here? What's going on?
What are you having troubles with now?
Just trying to get this gradient fill going. Do I have something selected and not realize it?
Probably. I've noticed Clip Studio likes to be really finicky about selections. Like, you have to deselect everything. You can't, like, select a new thing and have it override.
Let's try this gradient. Yeah, it's just this particular gradient. Oh, it's a gradient erase, I see.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I'm just dumb.
Listen, I'm just gonna say it, because I've already said it a lot. The gradient tool on Clip's just not that good. I don't like the way it interfaces.
Yeah, this
you
feels
fixed
right
that?
for a shitty SNES box art.
Are you talking about the background?
Yeah.
I think it works, yeah.
I'm gonna build a sky back there, but that definitely feels like the color palette they would go for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you also kind of have like a triadic thing going on with the red, purple, and green. Although, yeah, it's more blue, purple, and green. Because, not a lot of red on, you know, Master Chief Mario there.
Are you a bad enough plumber to stop the King Koopa?
I'm trying to think of like a Master Chief quote, but I don't know. And every time I think of Master Chief, I just think of like one of the things from the new show that got all the. I don't know anything about it except apparently. Okay, spoilers for Master Chief if you're gonna, or not Master Chief, Halo. I'm fucking forgetting the name. Spoilers for the Halo show on Paramount if you're gonna watch it. Mute for like the next 30 seconds. You got like 3, 2, 1. Apparently, Master Chief is Ace, which I'm like, all right, that makes sense. He was like literally genetically engineered to be a warrior. But apparently, the show breaks that, and he sleeps with a war criminal that he went through great efforts to catch.
Huh.
And I'm just like, that is a major, like, major deviation from the character.
Yeah.
And just really weird.
I mean, you
And
gotta make it sexy.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think about, because I remember how mad Twitter got about that. And, that's my only involvement on Twitter ever, is seeing the things people get riled up about, because, we all know I don't post any of my art anymore. Because I'm bad at this.
I mean, most of the stuff you're working on, you can't.
True, but I could be doing more, but, it's been a nice month of playing video games with the gang.
Yeah.
I kind of
Right.
rediscovered that after 3 years of not.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Like, go easy on yourself. Life sucks.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, too. I'm like, you know what? I get a steady job. Like, what is it? I'm a little over a year since graduation, and I got a steady job in my industry, and I'm like, holy shit. I didn't think I'd have a steady job, let alone in the industry I wanted.
Yeah. And then, if there are, like, side projects you want to pick up, like, you can do those kind of at your leisure in the meantime.
Yeah, I do have one, and I'm being a bit too leisurely. The guy's been super nice. It's the one our friend Spooky sent our way. Looking
cool.
for artists, and I have been a little too slow on that, and I really want to knock it out of the park for that guy, because he's been not only super patient but super understanding. I was really worried that when I'm like, hey, my tooth broke in half and I don't sleep anymore, I was really worried he'd just be like, you just didn't do it, fuck you. But
Oh, yeah.
Turns out some clients, or customers, whatever you prefer to call them, are actually just good people. So thank you to good people.
Incredible.
Right? Don't be an asshole to your artist or your dentist.
Well, not your dentist, maybe.
Yeah, true. I have had shitty dentists. If you ever wondered what it was like to have braces for 7 years, I spent 6 months thinking my teeth were wrong once I got them off, so that was interesting.
Thinking your teeth were wrong?
Oh, it felt like phantom limb shit, almost.
Oh, so you just had, phantom metal in your mouth?
Yeah, I could actively... I had to relearn how to fucking eat. I'm not even joking.
Jeepers.
And that, was shortly after we found out my dentist was extorting me and keeping them on for longer. So it's like, oh, you're such a wonderful guy.
So yeah, don't be nice to some dentists.
Yeah. The dentists that talk about their affair over you while they're doing their job. Probably not those ones. Yeah, this guy was a piece of
sound
work.
guy.
Oh, yeah. I remember I didn't like Gryffindor in Harry Potter because his name was Dr. Griffin. I'm not even joking. But I also hadn't seen any Harry Potter shit. I just made that correlation. I was like, bad man, bad movie.
Bad man not gonna join that fandom.
Yeah.
But who was right?
I think I was also
Turns out-
slightly mad at sorry to cut you off, but I was also slightly mad at Harry Potter because my family was doing that typical early 90s you play too much, or early 90s kids I should say, thing where it's you play too much video games, you need to read, and it was a weird form of punishment, and the book was Harry Potter. And I was a defiant little shit and didn't want to read it.
Yeah. Well, maybe you were on the right side of history.
Turns out. Wasn't even that I didn't like reading. I actually enjoy reading. I always have. But they told me I had to, and I was like, no, I'm a tween, I'm going to be difficult. So, you know, typical little shithead stuff.
Yeah. I mean, whenever anything's presented as work or a punishment to a kid, like, that's a surefire way to turn them off of it for maybe the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Like my little sister's funny. Like, she'll never clean half the time. I mean, and she's 13, by the way. So, you know, it's not like this is an adult being a lazy piece of shit. But, you know, she's a kid, whatever. But the other day, she got bored, and she just cleaned the entire upstairs and made it look like a maid service was hired. And when I just kind of gave her an awkward look, I'm like, what happened? It's like, oh, I was bored.
Yeah, let them find it out on their own.
I was like, all right, cool. It's like, she's gonna do just fine. I was like, yeah, I do all those like stupid, overprotective older brother things where I'm like, is she gonna be okay learning how to drive? And then I have to stop and be like, she can operate an excavator. She's gonna be fine. She probably drives better than my ass. Like,
oh yeah, we've talked about your arsenal.
yeah, it was a household object. It counted for the challenge. I don't know how Aaron knew there were excavators in my yard, but he knew.
He didn't.
He just wanted to, like, man, set you up for failure. And
Also, I got the excavator.
yeah, I don't know, like, I could have just, like, taken my computer out upstairs and been like, man, I have reference. He just hated
Like,
your ass.
I had fun with that one, so no complaints here.
Yeah. Did we ever have the talk about Love and Thunder?
We
remember.
talked about it, like, I touched on it briefly, but, like, there wasn't a whole lot of feedback, I guess, to avoid spoilers or anything, but,
True.
yeah, I really enjoyed it. I loved, as I said before, all the visuals, the costuming, just like the, I don't know, the spectacle of it all was amazing.
Yeah.
If you do go see it in theaters, go see it in 3D, because it's worth it.
It actually was good for you?
Yeah.
I will say, go see it just for Christian Bale, which I was kind of shocked.
Oh my god, yeah, he was such a good villain.
He was. He's my favorite in the MCU by a mile.
Yeah, he was really great.
Speaking of villains in MCU, and maybe a show that actually did really well without kind of a central villain almost, have you seen Miss Marvel?
Not yet.
I was actually, like, really surprised. They do a lot of stuff really well in that show.
Now, is that about the character that was introduced in Doctor Strange?
No, that is America Chavez. It's about, this one's about Kamala Khan. She is, she was kind of like the, she was one of the most popular new heroes, but, she's an Inhuman character. She's the one who, like, stretches.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
the one
her
that
powers
was in
are...
the video game?
Yeah, she was the, main member of the Marvel's video game. And, I mean, she kind of almost has become the heart of a lot of Marvel teams in a way. And there's good reason for that. She's a great character in her own right.
That's cool.
Yeah, she is like she was one of the new Inhumans when Marvel was trying to distance himself from the mutants because of Fox owning them. They kind of pushed the Inhumans, and she was like one of the not one of, probably the biggest new one. And then they got him back, and they've abandoned the Inhumans since.
I mean, X-Men's gonna sell, buku, because look how many shitty movies they were able to get away with, and
oh yeah, X-Men
people still eat them up.
Thing. Recent X-Men comics have been pretty good, but I think new X-Men stuff, or at least it's called The Mutants, got leaked ahead of San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think one of the news sites reported on it too early, so everyone knows it's happening. I don't know anything other than it's happening.
Yeah, like, as long as they get a good, team on the project, which Marvel's been less good about lately.
Yeah, I feel like Mutants is one they know they have to knock it out with, though.
I hope so, because like I loved the. I think it's the Phase 2 of like the MCU, or it might be slightly after Phase 2 started. Like Avengers 2 was like the lowest point of that entire franchise for me because it was such a slog. Yeah.
Okay.
And
yeah,
then right after that, like they course corrected so hard with Doctor Strange.
Yeah. I feel like I almost want to say, even though I enjoyed it, I think Multiverse of Madness might have kind of put them in that mindset again. Because critically, it did not go too well.
Yeah.
It was really mixed.
It wasn't the greatest. I appreciate a lot of the things they were trying to do, but they could have used a better cinematographer. It wasn't executed especially great. Like, visually, I feel like they tried to play off a bunch of horror tropes, and there's, like, one big example for me is that scene whenever, like, Wanda kind of comes out of the mirror, and there was a clear trope they were playing off of there, but it just looked terrible.
The scene where they're in the tunnel, and she, like, jump scares them, too, they held on that scene way too long. Like, obnoxiously long.
Yeah. And also just... It was like these goofy bits, but they didn't really cohese very well. And
yeah,
that's, I guess... That
those
fits
directing
for Sam
problems.
Raimi.
Yeah, those directing problems are present in Ash vs. the Evil Dead, the TV show as well. So it's definitely a him thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's fun, and I love Army of Darkness, but, like, it's... You have to expound on that. You're gonna have a hard time catching that magic again, Sam.
Yeah. Civil War was my most hated part, though it was because I love the comic so much. I get that. I think Civil War was a fine movie. I think they cashed in on the namesake, though. I agree with that.
Oh,
The comics event had so much more nuance to it, so much more... And honestly, they shouldn't have attempted... They shouldn't have attempted Civil War so early, in my opinion. They have another event where things go awry called Avengers Disassembled, and I think it would have fit this way more, because this wasn't a Civil War. This was just between the Avengers. If you would have called it Avengers Disassembled, it's get the same notoriety, it's more on the nose. Wanda's a central part. Actually, most of the key players are a central part of that story, too. Like, I know Vision, Wanda, and Iron Man are all there, and obviously you have to change some of the events that happen, but it's what they did anyway. But yeah, like, there's so much more they missed out on Civil War.
I do like... Because, like, one of my biggest qualms with Civil War is that Tony Stark and Reed Richards are just... They're just evil in it. Like, there's no moral ambiguity with them. They just kind of become evil for a little bit.
Well, I think you can fit that easily on Reed Richards, because he always comes across as slightly, like, neurodivergent in the amount he doesn't understand human empathy. Tony Stark's always well aware, and I think it's kind of harder to justify with his character. Especially with the way, like, it just wouldn't have... Like, MCU Tony versus comic Tony is so different in that respect. But, like, even the comic Tony at that time would not have... not have acted that way. It was kind of... Yeah, but I think, like, I would have loved to see them go, like, pretty close to the comics with Civil War, because the fallout of it leads to some insane stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
And
that's what they played off with Multiverse of Madness is people knowing Spider-Man's identity and it being a big deal.
Yeah.
Because that was one of my favorite things to come of that. And we got so many great storylines because of it.
Yeah, that was, man, okay. This might be a bad take, but I have to go with it. I feel like, yes, the original Spider-Man 2 was good. Even the original Spider-Man. Spider-Man 3, I've seen Amazing Spider-Man 1. It's pretty damn good. I haven't seen the Electro one yet. I haven't seen 2.
I'm going to disagree with you on Amazing Spider-Man. I thought they were all hot garbage.
That's fine. And here's what I'm saying. They're okay. And then I see people come in and, like, people will, like, argue, and I see people put, like, Far From Home, like, last out of all of the movies. And, like, noted, it's probably the weakest of the three for, what's his fucking name? I can't think of Tom Holland. But I look at these movies and you know what?
But
I might be happy.
go on.
I'm good. I like Far From Home. I might have been poisoned by the Twitter mob on that one. I like Far From Home a lot.
Oh yeah, I think it was, directing-wise, it was one of the best directed.
It was good. I thought everything about it was much better. Good villain, good setup. The fucking cinematography of the Mysterio bits was amazing.
Yeah, they implemented Mysterio in such a cool way. And I mean, like, he's not the easiest villain to implement.
Yeah, and they did it pretty well. I don't know. The people who, like, always put the Tom Holland movies so low on, like, the list and pretend like the other Spider-Mans were amazing, and I just kind of look at them like, how much have you smoked today? Like, when's the last time you watched these movies? Like, to me, the Tom Holland movies kind of blow the other ones out of the water, even without the greater MCU connected. Like,
oh, 100%.
Vulture was such a good villain. Mysterio did so well. I think you could argue No Way Home is a little convoluted if you don't know the history. So
yeah,
I can see some of the takeaways of that, but even then, I think that one introduces the villains better than their own movies did in a shorter amount of time. They do an excellent job.
Lean heavily on the other movies, and it was very, I don't know, there for the memes.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of that. So that one I can get the critiques of, but, like, I don't know. But for some reason, a lot of the internet hates Far From Home, and I'm not about it. I'm like, that's better than, like, I think all the Andrew movies. Again, I haven't seen 2, and it's better than most of the Tobey ones. Like, I think I think it's just the Tom Holland trilogy does better than the other 5 movies, flat out.
Yeah.
You could maybe convince me No Way Home is, like, 4th.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Like, it...
But you'd have to convince me.
Whenever they, like, try and appeal to mean humor, not only does it date the movie, it tends to turn me off, because by the time a movie comes out, like, those memes are years and years gone.
Yeah. And I think a distinction I have to make is, I think as a movie, Amazing Spider-Man's kind of a hot garbage, but Andrew Garfield's love for the character carries it a lot.
Yeah.
And that kind of helps a lot in No Way Home, too.
Yeah, I can see that. But they also, do intentionally comment on the goofiness of those movies, like, oh, he fell into a vat of electric eels and got electric powers. And they're like, oh yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
And also, Lizard was barely a part of it because it was such a bad character design.
Yeah, Lizard felt really out of place for most of it. Electro, again, I don't know what he was like in Amazing Spider-Man 2 because I haven't seen it, but he kind of fit right in from what I saw. Like, in No Way Home. I was like, I like his parts in it. Norman Osborn, the way it ended with Norman and No Way Home kind of annoyed me, I'll admit. Like it was just it was just like that convenient comic book movie, crazy guy snaps out of it right after he's done a horrible thing cliche, and I'm like, come on.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I get it, but like, can you at least try to handle it like it's not the most dated cliche in comic books?
I mean, it's not like he just snaps out of it. There was impetus for it.
True. I mean, it fit the story beats. I don't know. Something about it rubbed me the wrong way. I can't really figure out why. But even then, I didn't hate it. It wasn't like...
I liked it because they played off of, like, the duplicity of the character that was already established.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe sold it, that's for sure. I didn't have a problem.
Yeah, he's an astoundingly good actor. Like, and the fact that he just keeps surprising me, I love it. Like, he has kind of a bit part in, have you seen or heard of The Northman?
I've heard of it. I know what it is. I don't know anything about the movie.
Yeah, he's got a bit part in that, and, like, he steals your heart pretty much out, like, anytime he's on screen.
So he's also the Green Goblin and rips it out of my chest, or...
Could be. But he's
Could
charming
be.
while he does it.
That's all that matters in a villain. I do love, it feels like there's been a recent trend in, some stuff where it's like, alright, we have to make a villain, but we have to make sure our audience wants to fuck them. Like, it just seems to be a trend lately.
Oh, it's...
I don't know if it's maybe just what I'm consuming media-wise, but it feels like a thing.
It's Hollywood catching on late.
Yeah, I guess, but it's like, man... I'm starting to get to the point where it's like, I kind of want my, like, monster stuff back. Like, give me people who are just upset, angry, and ugly like the rest of us.
Some relatable villains.
Yeah. I want to look at him and be like, that's me, and it's just like Gollum, but skin inside out.
Alright, we got a new drawing prompt.
Inverse skin, or?
Yeah, Gollum with inside out skin. Give me inside outside, man.
Nevins, to your point, I just read your thing about Tony in the movies, and jumping back to Miss Marvel, because that's the whole reason all this shit came up. That's one thing they actually handle really well. The comedy isn't 500 one-liners, and one of them's meant for your demographic. It is actually just organic comedy. They don't try to force it, they don't try to make jokes. It feels like normal show that happens to have a Marvel character, and it was super refreshing. And I don't think I realized that until my friend pointed it out. But once she did, I was like, holy shit, that is probably why I didn't like... It didn't feel like overly MCU. Which ever since like Thor Ragnarok, they do that a lot, and it works, but having some characters that don't do it is necessary.
Oh yeah, you can't have everybody be goofy, which I think might have been a downfall of Love and Thunder.
That's something we didn't get to talk about. I liked a lot of it. My least favorite thing about the movie by a mile was actually Taika as Korg.
As his character, yeah. But
yeah.
As a director,
yeah, no problem. No problems at all on that end. As Korg, I just wanted him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, so there was a moment when I'm like, okay, good, and then... Sorry, I'm catching myself trying to tiptoe around spoilers.
That's where I'm at.
There was one particular gag that they introduced really early on, and it just keeps coming up throughout the movie, and you'll probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I could not stand it.
As like, yes, we get it, he's a pile of rocks, and he shouldn't be able to do this, but whatever.
Well, there's not even necessarily with Korg, but related to that. They introduced the gag really early on, and it's just a fucking meme, and like they just keep doing it, and I don't get that impulse. That's a middle schooler's idea of comedy. Is it's funny because I'm making it really annoying.
Can you DM me which thing you're talking about in Discord? Because now I'm not sure. I want to
gets a gift really early on in the movie. Like really early on in the movie.
Yeah. Mine was related to that, but not that exactly. I was talking about what Korg does to interact with the gift.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what annoyed the hell out of me. Plus all of his dialogue.
Devin says rule of 3 is a thing for a reason. Past that's no longer funny. 100%.
The issue is they used the rule of 3, and they did the bit 3 times overall in the movie. The issue is, each time they did it, each instance, was long enough to be 3 itself. So they really did it 9 times. And it just, like, every time the joke came up, it overstayed its welcome by a mile.
And also, rule of 3, like, it hinges on the third one being different.
Which, technically, yeah, but again, by that point, it felt like 9 to me, and I was just like, shut the fuck up. I was really happy when, we'll just say things happen. And I'm pretty sure you're with me on that. Like, you know what I mean.
When things happen?
When things got serious for a second and were quickly reversed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to speak in cryptic, but we don't want to spoil shit for people.
Yeah, they didn't... Considering they could have gone more serious with a lot of moments in this movie, and I honestly wish they had to really juxtapose the goofiness.
Yeah, I think...
Because Taika's usually just such a thoughtful storyteller. And so, like, he has these very human characters, and I mean, considering what some of the characters are dealing with, I would have loved, like, a little more humanity in those moments.
Yeah, it felt like, I really felt like this movie reduced Valkyrie to less of a character.
Yeah.
She has a little bit of growth and a little bit of hints of intrigue, and they never expand upon it. And it honestly feels like she could have just not been in the movie, and it wouldn't have changed a damn thing.
Yeah, didn't have a lot of time to, because, I mean, the focus wasn't on her, essentially.
It feels like it was just one of those things where it's like, well, she's here, she obviously would be involved. You know, she kind of is the king of Asgard now, like, we can't ignore her. And then they just never thoughtfully put her into the story.
We can't ignore her, but we don't have to pay attention to her.
Yeah, it was just kind of a shame, because I'm going to be blunt, I found Tessa Thompson way more interesting than Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
And
it was the goofiness, because Natalie Portman wasn't playing the straight man like she did in the previous movies.
Yeah, like, the character was in the other movies, like the comic character almost always is, but we'll just ignore all that. I don't know. I also just found everything about Natalie Portman in that movie kind of forgettable, if I'm being honest.
Which is a shame, because she has a pretty tremendous part.
Yeah, I get the feeling it wasn't her.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like writing more than, like, her performance did what it could with the writing.
It feels a little bit like, I kind of get this feeling with a lot of licensed media when it comes to anything. It kind of feels like one of those things where someone up higher than, like, someone who has a stake in the character or the company was demanding certain things, and it kind of killed the character a little.
Yeah.
Like sort of CEO or higher up mandate might have made things difficult.
I wouldn't doubt that for a second. Like, especially in a company as big as Disney, you've got the too many cooks problems.
One day we're just gonna play Too Many Cooks the entire show.
Note that. We've got a couple months till April.
Didn't we already have something else planned for April? Oh yeah, we were gonna do that thing with Aaron.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron, if you're listening, hee.
Too Many Cooks will spoil the broth. Don't worry, we can spoil it on our own. But yeah, we could just play Too Many Cooks in the background during that.
I think that might actually be copywritten.
You know what? I wouldn't be shocked. It's too good not to.
I mean, it's high produced.
Boy, I love when people have big energy whips that go all over the page that I have to fucking flat. Sorry, just me bitching about work into the void.
I think we're past energy whips, is it true?
You know, this does kind of lead back to Iron Man. You know, okay, listen. This
Leads
comic...
back to Thor as well.
Does it? Oh, yeah, it does. Man, listen. This comic kind of hits the tropes like a checklist sometimes, alright? But, you know...
You hear that, comic author? Or, yeah.
Don't say that. They don't... I like my job.
They don't have time to watch this bullshit show.
Oh, they definitely do not. My boss is one of the busiest people I've ever met. It's kind of fucking insane. It makes me question why he wants to do this shit. I saw my phone light up with Instagram and I thought it was Looking Elephant, warning us of more tech difficulties, so I panicked for a second.
Oh no. No, we should be good. I've got my OBS set up correctly this time. And I figured out what that issue was. It was just...
With your headphones, or...?
Yeah. It was just new hardware. Because these headphones have a built-in mic, it interacted with Windows' sound interface in a really obtrusive way.
Gotcha. I really wanted to make like a new metal joke with the new hardware thing, and I just couldn't channel enough 2000s energy for it.
I got some new metal on my ears.
Yeah, I couldn't Fred Durst it. Not enough Linkin Park playing right now for me.
You tried so hard and come so far.
I follow a meme page about deathcore because I'm a stupid, snobby metal person. Actually, I think the group's even called deathcore memes for metal snobs. So even the group, and they posted like a tribute to Chester because I think today was the anniversary of when he committed suicide. And dude, some people who listen to metal are straight up assholes. My God.
Oh yeah.
There were so many comments that started along the lines of, listen, I know it's tragic, but, and I was like, everything after that.
No.
It was like, listen. Oh.
Yeah, I can get down with metal, but not enough to get into some of that scene. But I think you see that with every music scene.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, every person I know who likes metal and isn't an asshole about it actively doesn't participate in the communities. Like, I think there's one community, like Nick Nocturnal on, he streams on Twitch pretty often. He's like the only good metal community I've ever seen.
That's cool.
Because he actively fights against that horse shit. But dude, I was just like, this is like the equivalent of like white people going, but I have a black friend. Like, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, you stop it. Like, it's cool, but like you running down the street to tell your neighbor you hate what they're listening to because you saw it on Facebook. Like, dude, calm the fuck down, man. It's like, Travis doesn't make fun of my garbage music, and I don't make fun of his music, so.
You'd have every right to.
Yeah, but
But on several occasions, you've actually complimented it.
you have some good taste.
I appreciate that.
Some.
But, like, I thought the ska community was really cool.
You might not get away with this one from me.
I thought it was a cool community because I'm like, oh yeah, we all understand we're a bunch of fucking dorks here. Like,
Oh, never mind.
we have no room to judge music. And then I got into this ska group, and these guys are being like super snobby about what is and isn't ska, and I'm like, man, you realize what you're getting all up in arms about, right?
And they weren't being facetious. They were just 100% like, listen, motherfucker. This one doesn't count because I used this. Like, were they like commenting on what kind of like fucking brass instruments count and not?
A lot of it has to do with whether or not it has the upstroke of the guitar. Like, there's an ongoing thing about them saying Streetlight Manifesto isn't ska. And you're splitting split hairs at that point.
I was about to say, if you can be excluded from a genre because you upstroke a guitar pick is absolutely absurd.
No, because you don't upstroke the guitar pick.
Oh, sorry. Your Mario's looking a little bit like Carl to me.
Hey there, Yosh. You wanna give me a ride? And I mean, I may or may not have to jump off you halfway across this gorge here, but
This is just the story about how Bowser's trying to jump in his pool. Peach was never involved, she just happened to be in the pool.
I think that's the story of Mario Sunshine.
Actually, yes. Nevins, to your point, I agree 100%. Whereas punks fuck the government, ska kind of feels like I'm upset with the government, but if they ever question me, I'm gonna fall in line because I don't like conflict. Which, you know, I get it. They're scary. Also, I do love the idea that you add trombones to punk and suddenly acceptance is out the window. It's like punk's so welcoming to everybody, and then there's a brass section. No, too late. Too far gone.
Well, I'd say, like, there's the different levels of punk, and obviously there's the big meme about it.
Oh, yeah.
Ska, they won't be in the front lines, but they'll be the bards in the back.
It's like that.
Emo's too focused on, like, itself. Sorry, you were saying?
I was gonna say, like, have you ever seen that Area 51 meme about where all the different fandoms would be? It'd be the perfect template for this. Anyway, continue. I like where this was going.
So yeah, ska would be in the back. Like, you've got thrash punks and new waves, like Jello Barifa from Dead Kennedys would be leading that charge. But then you'd have, you know, the shitty gutter punks in the back just commenting on everything without actually lifting a finger. And there actually was a trombone player playing ska music during a riot. Hell yeah. And then obviously you'd have Nazi punks on the other side of the conflict.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
I had
like,
how do those two ideologies ever combine?
A bunch of assholes who, like, a bunch of skinheads who just like hurting people got really involved with the punk scene because, you know, it got pretty rowdy at times, and so those are the assholes who are, like, aiming to hurt people in the pit. But yeah, like in the Rise of the you know, the punk scene's like, you had to keep the Nazis out. That's why I don't listen to Ace of Base, you know, that 90s kind of electronic band.
Vaguely.
Like, they have the song Beautiful Life, but they made a bunch of 90s club hits, but apparently they were Nazi punks.
Huh.
So, fuck them.
Yeah. That's... Yeah, it was like when someone was telling me about one of the recent mass shootings was perpetrated by somebody who was part of a group that was, I think it was Nazi cat boys.
Jeepers.
And as you can imagine, this was a 4chan thing. And just finding out that that was an unironic thing blew my goddamn mind. I was just... I actually was sent reeling by that.
There's a book called It Came From Something Awful that kind of talks about this, like 4chan and then 8chan. 8chan became the hyper radicalized 4chan offshoot.
That's okay. Hold, we just gotta stop and process 4chan hyper radicalized, because that's already just like, you're telling me water got wet. Like, hold up. Like, 4chan's already pretty fucking out there.
Oh yeah, but they're all just doing it ironically, right?
A lot of
that's
were.
the veneer they kind of operated under, but then you have actual Nazis finding a home in in those communities, and there's a point at which irony just kind of, that veneer wears off, and then, you know, people have been listening to this forever, and then it doesn't sound like such a bad idea whenever they hear it outright, because they're so desensitized to it.
It's kind of like an extreme example of when you ironically use vernacular and it actually becomes part of your vocabulary.
Exactly.
Honestly, yeah, Tyler or Trollington probably has a point. I'm just gonna call you Tyler. You don't have the N on your name. I'm not gonna pretend. Trollington. But yeah, no, it's God, hearing that one blew my fucking mind. Nazi Catboy. I mean, listen, I don't want to comment on the furry community because this is already following me around. Like, I watch a furry streamer, I'm drawing a furry, or not drawing, I'm coloring a furry comic. All I'm saying is I've learned a lot about furries over the past 2 years, and I'm finding out more and more that they're actually one of the best fucking communities out there, it seems.
Oh, 100%.
But, like, once I found out that it's an extremely small minority of them that are extremely horny, and don't get me wrong, if that's your thing, be extremely horny, just do it on your own time and in proper spaces. But once I found out that was a minority of the fandom, I'm like, alright, I can get down with these people. And I have seen day in, day out that community is super nice.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
But I've also seen what you're talking about, Nevins, where they are very, very quick to go against any form of assholery.
Yeah, punch Nazis, I guess. That's the official stance of me, at least.
Yep.
Any qualms to make it the official 10 Bases stance? Punch
I was
Nazis?
actually about to... Well, we don't need to make it a slogan, but that's our stance on them. But I was actually about to suggest the same thing. It was like, yeah, I think you can just call that a 10 Paces stance in general.
Yeah, we ain't accepting them in this town.
Yeah. They also have the money. Yeah, no, Looking Elephant was, a while back, was, explaining to me and showing me some articles about how they basically make the internet work, and how there are a lot of them with money.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. I think I only know one furry IRL, and they were super cool. Oh wait, no, I know two. Both of them super cool, actually. Really good people. But yeah, that was a surprise for me because, you know, I grew up on, well, I should say we grew up on young internet, and I'm sure you're aware that stigma was kind of out there.
The furry stigma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hell,
What's weird is that there's one furry from the Jeffco days who just got hyper radicalized, and I never would have expected it.
That does seem odd. Although, we had some pretty fringe people with our group back in those days. Like, we had a few that, like, wouldn't surprise me if they went either way. I mean, like some of them, like, you know, you and Nevins, I never questioned for a second.
Yeah.
And,
you knew we were alt-rights into anal fisting.
well, I didn't want to call you out for being the other Nazi cat boys, but here we are.
It's like the bar motto, don't Nazis in the bar. They slowly keep coming in a few at a time, not making a fuss. Suddenly you have a bunch of Nazis there and you can't get rid of them. Go hard to kick Nazis out of your place as soon as you can.
Yeah, that's the same line of thought. Me and a couple other friends have tried to take with some unsavory individuals in the comic scene that unfortunately graduated around the same time as us. Alright, this is... I'm just gonna call this, like, some unsavory shit's about to be said. So just be warned. If you're faint of heart, maybe mute for a minute. But we had a guy who said shit along the lines of... He jokingly came up to me one day and was like, so women thinking they have rights. Openly made rape jokes about women in their presence during Jackbox games, and actively said in not that it's any other way to take it, in a derogatory context to a female student, that all women deserve to be raped.
Ooh.
So yeah, this guy is a massive piece of shit. And me and a lot of my friends did everything we can to damage his... Like, within reason. We warned people, like, hey, he's a piece of shit. Don't work with him. This is why. And we were very pro that. And, you know, he kind of used the classic, it's my kind of humor. I was like, man, if your humor bases on disparaging an entire gender and calling for, like, horrible acts like that, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's not funny.
To Nevin's point, though, to circle back around, I've seen what happens when people don't. To summarize his quote, keep the Nazis out of the bar. And, man, sure enough, he is still leeching onto this group. And a few more people are slowly coming in, being like, well, if so-and-so keeps him around, he can't be that bad. Or, well, so-and-so works with them, and I've gotten work from them. And it's just kind of snowballing. And it's to a point where, like, do you guys remember some of the shit this person has said and done? Like,
if they continue in it, like, I believe that people should be redeemable, but it definitely takes work to be redeemable. And if they make no effort to be, then fuck them, knock them out.
yeah, I mean, and that's kind of at the point where I'm at. And I'm like, right now he's kind of just, like, around, and I'm just like, alright, that's fine. But, I had to actively work with the person once recently, and it did not go well. No fault of my own. They actively went out of their way to do stupid shit, and I'm just like, you know, it's kind of nice to know that not only was it from, like, a moral standpoint, it was also from a professional standpoint, you just kind of were bad to be around. A little validating. Yeah. Not that either of those need to be true for the other to work, but
I would say, man, being just morally abhorrent is pretty unprofessional.
Yeah, he was, and separate of that, also just terrible. So that was, like, compounded. But man, it's just like, I constantly tell my friends that are around him all the time too. It's like, I don't like that you're around this person. They're kind of a piece of shit. And I know there's like every time it happens, it's never like, oh, they're not that bad, or oh, they're changed, or oh, they're trying. It's always the same reaction of, yeah, I know, but, and it's just like, man.
Oh no, you don't have to accept them after, the history you have with that person.
Yeah, and I'm
again,
just like,
it takes work, and the more bad shit they've done, the more work it's gonna take.
Maybe the guy who, after all of us tried to properly tell him how to prepare a lobster to be boiled, went out of his way to call the lobster one of our teachers' names and then boil it alive instead of humanely killing it. Maybe he's a piece of shit.
Turns out.
Yeah. Turns out torturing animals is a good sign. You're kind of an asshole.
Nah, you're just a sensitive lib.
No, I mean, I'm just gonna say, don't name the lobster you're about to boil after one of your teachers, even if you don't like them.
Oh yeah, that's a bad move.
Yeah, that teacher doesn't know about that, and I think they're no longer with the school, so next time I see them, I'm gonna tell them.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, if it affects this person's,
Oh, no, that
industry
person...
chances.
They're already fucked. This won't damage them any further. They're already fucked in that sense.
Gotcha.
But it's more of just like a neat story of, hey, guess what? It's like that kind of thing, like when two people both quit the same job and one of them was in a position of power. It's like, all right, now I can tell you this.
Yeah.
It's that kind of story. It's not, like I said, I don't go out of my way to fuck with this person. It's just like, I'm very open with like, hey, maybe you shouldn't. And I love that one of the defenses I've heard about this person is, but they're such a hard worker. It's like, okay. Implying shitty people can't be hard workers?
Unfortunately, many of them are. But what they work hard at is heinous.
Yeah, I think that one's just a side product of America's hustle culture. Or, yeah, I think that's a proper way to call it. Like, America cares about productivity so much that a lot of people think it's okay as long as the bottom line's green.
Yeah.
Okay, Tyler, you have a point, but he actively chose the most painful way to kill that lobster.
Would Tyler say? You don't have a central nervous system.
You can't humanely kill a lobster, which he is right about. But two of us showed him how to kill it quickest. And he actively chose the way that was about 15 minutes of it boiling alive. So, again, it's not like I hate the person for the lobster thing. That was just a little more evidence. It was more about maybe don't name your soon-to-be lobster dinner after a teacher and then kill it.
Just a good practice all around.
Yeah. That is a good point, though. I was making it sound like there's a humane way to kill the fucker, and there really isn't.
Plug my phone in 1 sec.
But yeah, so I mean, and I'm sure that happens in everyone's workplace and everyone's industry, so it's kind of like, eh. Oh, true. I just got a text that's relevant to this.
One moment. I'm gonna go to the...
Yeah, I'll wait for you to get it.
Keep talking with chat. I'm gonna be right back.
I'll talk with chat.
Okay.
Chat's okay. They're alright people. Alright. Well, Travis is gone. You guys have anything you're curious about? Anything you want to talk about? Any topic? Comics, art, your own life? If you want to troll me, I guess. I don't know what the fuck you guys are into. And I just asked if you guys want to troll me like I'm a fucking boomer on the internet. I literally just lived the how do you do fellow kids meme. for anyone who's not aware, Travis is redoing a prompt from Monday that was like retro video game box art, but kind of under the theme of it misrepresents the game. If you had to have a knife fight, I'm assuming there's a second part to this question. Three furries or one Dark Souls fan? Are you... Well, alright, there's two angles I could take this from. I think the Dark Souls fan would be easier to deal with, because they're just gonna dodge roll, hurt themselves when they dodge roll, and then it's gonna be an easy fight. But a lot of furries are really nice people, and they might not want to hurt me. So if we're assuming it's a fight where everyone's intending to hurt each other, with, like, not holding back, the Dark Souls fan. Dark Souls fans are like... How do... The best way I can describe this is Dark Souls fans are like when it comes to fandoms, Dark Souls fans are the Dark Souls of fandoms, which I know doesn't make sense, but if you've played Dark Souls, I think you see what I'm getting at. Like, they are, they're kind of like the metal community of video game fandoms. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of good in it, there's a lot of cool, and a lot of people enjoy it, but man, they have a loud audience that's just real fucking annoying and obnoxious and don't know what they're talking about. So yeah,
Dakota, get good.
Get good? Yeah, no, I'm saying I'd knife fight the Dark Souls fans. Because they're just gonna dodge roll, hurt themselves, and then I just kick them. Done. And then, yeah, it's the exact same way as the metal community, honestly. Like, there's so many cool metal fans, and a lot of them are quiet because there's so many asshole ones. But again, I feel like you can break down so many communities that way. But,
That's just communities as a whole.
Yeah. Social media has, made that almost a guarantee for every fandom.
Mm-hmm. The worst fans are always the loudest.
Oh. Sorry, you, like, brought me back to the, days at Jeffco. We were in a gaming club, and some of the members were prime examples of who you would expect. Like, think about who a normal non-nerd person would cast as a video game nerd and how they would write them. We actually had some of those people in our club, I feel like.
Oh yeah, life is stranger than fiction.
Boy, is it. I still distinctly remember a conversation I had with a student, and this is college, mind you, about why it's not okay to pin a student to the wall with a bar stool as a quote-unquote joke. I saw the fear in that girl's eyes, and I'm just
Jeepers.
like, hey. Yeah, and I was just like, hey, stop. Don't do this. I only saw that guy a few times, and there were incidents almost every time. I don't know whatever happened to that person.
Yeah, some people just... And I mean, it was a collection of outcasts, but, like... You gotta take hints if you're gonna interact in a social scenario. I don't know, it's just... Learn to behave.
Yeah. Also, I have to backtrack to the knife fight thing. Nevins, you have to specify if they're in fursuits or not. That's kind of important.
Oh yeah, that... You can't land a good hit.
Yeah. About to say, if they're in fursuits, my tactic's just going to be run away because they're not catching up to me. I think technically means I lose the fight because I ran, but...
Now if you circle back when they overheat...
So in like 1 minute? Those things have to be fucking walking saunas. There's no other way. All right, Travis. I have a surprise for you.
Oh yeah?
All right. So I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and the surprise is now you have to entertain people on your own.
Alright, well, whoopee and Yahoo, everybody!
It's already
It's
going.
Uncle
So
Travis's Family Fun Hour! How about you out there in the audience? What do you think I should draw? What's that? Keep working on the same piece? You're right! I think I will. I don't think y'all got a proper... How are you tonight, chat? Also, now that I'm in control, I can diverge the conversation to any direction I please. So, if you were a kaiju, what kind of kaiju would you want to be?
definitely a crustacean.
You see, I said the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, a crustacean with a big nose.
I wouldn't have gone with big nose, but respectable.
Yeah, I was thinking like one of those big, sword noses.
Oh, that's fun. Okay. Also, I could hear you from my bathroom when you were doing your, like, voice, and all I could think of was Bioshock's The Circus of Value! Just
Come
over
back
and
when
over.
you got
Every time
more
do that-
money, Sonny.
Yeah, every time you do that, that's what I think of. Oh, yeah, someone brought up also a good point about that person I was talking about, the shitty one. They also would scream racial slurs at the top of their lungs.
Oh, cool and edgy.
Yeah. So, they just had it all checked off. Oh, they tried to red pill me.
Oh, tell you.
They tried to
know
convert
how-
me into, yeah, they tried to convert me into a red pillar.
Awesome.
Or incel, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, no joke. He led with, hey, I know you got dumped recently. I know some books that can help you with that.
Jeepers.
And I'm like, yeah. So,
Hey, buddy, just reaching out in a time of need, right?
yeah. Disclaimer, most of the people at this college, it was a small college. It's the Kubert School in New Jersey. Almost none of them were like this. There was a very small group of them. So yeah. But no, he was a piece of work. I've forgotten about a lot of it. I forgot about the racial slurs thing. He probably stopped because he ended up dating somebody of the race he would disparage. Which,
Wild.
yeah, I know, right? Well, it was even weirder because it's just like, huh, maybe you weren't actually, like, actively racist, which makes this even more bizarre.
Probably not. Probably just a 4chan little shit nugget.
Yeah, my first takeaway was, wow, he's that desperate, he's dating somebody he doesn't respect, but that would imply he respects any woman, so.
You may have found a darker source of the issue.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's...
Probably more accurate, but...
Yeah, it's kind of hard to find, the darker source when there's not a light source there, but... Anyway. Enough about that jerk. Man, we've been all over the place on topics today. Travis, you pick one. I'm forcing this. You're on the spot.
I went to MC Chris last night. I can talk about that. It's not especially interactive because I was the one who went, but that's just on my brain.
I mean, why would we want to interact with these people anyway?
Yeah, I went to go see MC Chris because, like,
Sorry, that
I've
pause.
I've never seen him before, and I would never say I was like the biggest Die Hard fan, but I was friends with a lot of his fans, and he did a lot of really cool stuff. Had a pretty cool niche community. But like, he's a single dad now, and so that's why like this tour might be his last tour, and that's like the theme of the entire tour, is that it's the end of his career. Yeah. So I'm like, well, if this is gonna be my last chance, I might as well. And I don't regret it. Like, normally I would not go out to a show on a Wednesday night because I'm old, but it was a lot of fun. He's been touring with his kid, who is, I don't know, between 8 and 10, I'd say. And his kid, like, is on stage with him, picking songs and DJing for him occasionally.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah. So it was kind of wholesome. And then, you know, singing about drinking blunts and smoking 40s.
As you do with your 8 to 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You brought that up, though, like, the last time you might be able to see him, and I'm just like, so many bands just went through my mind of, like, man, I could have gone to that tour and I missed it. Like, Every Time I Die recently did that, like, where their frontman apparently went a little bonkers and left the band, and I'm just like, well, there goes that chance. God damn it.
Yeah. Like, a lot of bands I got into just too late.
Yeah, I have that problem too.
Like, I've been excited that MCR got back together because that's one band I got into like years after they broke up. I kind of miss my teeny weeny emo phase in high school because I was a real edgelord. But like that, Foxy Shazam, I hope they tour again. Because
I haven't seen them since Warped Tour, man.
Yeah, they've been doing music.
Have they?
Yeah, starting in 2020, they dropped a new track and have been doing new stuff.
I thought for sure they were done. I haven't heard shit from them in like 8 years.
Oh yeah, they announced they were done whenever they stopped, and they're like, maybe we'll get back together and do stuff, and I guess now's the time.
Man. Back on that MCR shit, I actually was reading the Umbrella Academy novels earlier today.
Oh yeah.
Crap. I just got through the first one.
Now I know I've got a hot take here, but Gerard Way's a pretty good comic writer.
I mean, he was good enough for DC to give him an entire division.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, he ran an entire division called Young Animal at DC for like 4 or 5 years. Like, they let him do some wild shit. He got to just do whatever he wanted with Doom Patrol for a few years.
That's cool.
He was able to make a vigilante in Gotham that wasn't about Batman at all. Yeah, like, he's done a lot of cool shit.
Oh yeah, he's a very clever writer. Look at Elephant is seeing MCR sometime this year. Just gotta decide whether it's in NYC or Philly.
I want to say Philly, and that's for no real reason. There's not any thought behind that. Probably just me being contrarian because I figured you'd go New York City. And yeah, also, not only do I like Gerard's comics, the new MCR single that came out a while back, holy shit.
Yeah.
Really good. Like, I personally think it blows the old shit out of the water.
They still got it, and then some. Because Gerard's solo stuff was really great.
I didn't even know he had it, which I shouldn't be surprised by.
Well, I say solo stuff. He had a backing band, but they weren't really, like, billed. It was Gerard Way and the Hormones, then he also had some, like, solo stuff.
Gotcha, okay. The guy just...
He did a track with Jimmy Urine from Mindless Self-Indulgence.
Yeah.
That was really good.
He was in Matt Heafy from Trivium, the frontman. He was in his black metal side project, just doing vocals randomly one day.
Nice.
Yeah, he's fucking everywhere. He's wild. God, and also I got super into the Umbrella Academy comics because I realized, I'm primarily a colorist in comic books. That's my job. I found out their colorist, for the first volume at least, is really damn good. So I'm super into it. I'm like, he took pretty simple line work and did a lot of cool shit. Like, it's nothing revolutionary, but I'm still so new at this that I can learn from all of it.
Yeah. That's really cool. It's nice to have, like, insider perspective, because, like, the whole reason I got into MCR to begin with was because, like, I used to have a very bad comic habit, and I say bad habit just because I was spending more money than I should have been on comics.
Yeah.
And I would go drop, $50 every week or two at the comic shop, which at the time meant a lot more than it does today. But I picked up the Killjoys comic because I'm just like, ooh, I like this art style. And then my friend's like, yeah, that's My Chemical Romance. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, Gerard Way was the lead singer of My Chemical Romance. But they did a whole, like a short, I think it's 4-part comic run that takes place in that universe after the album. And then I got really into the album, and then it became my personality for a couple of years.
I actually remember you during that phase. Because I remember you had it on... It had to be early Jeffco, I want to say, because you had it... I remember I was in your car and you had it on, and I didn't realize it was MCR. Or you showed... Oh, you showed me the YouTube video, that's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
And this was before I was even into comics. I remember when you actually gave me your collection a long time ago.
Yeah. Those Killjoys might... At least one of them might be in there.
I think I sold almost your entire collection because I moved.
Understandable.
Yep. I told you that to your face, that that's what was going to happen. And you were just like, I just don't want them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I was unloading a burden of a bunch of shit onto you.
I think you were also moving.
Yeah. So I understood entirely.
Yeah, I'm almost positive we were both moving.
I was like, do you want...
I was already in the part of where I was like in that 2-month unemployed period between leaving.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure. It was close enough to that. I bought tickets.
Saved me the trouble of having to sell them myself.
True. You're not the first person to do that to me either. Or, sorry, I should say you weren't the last. I bought tickets for Philly 2 years ago, but due to rescheduling, it's on a Monday and also in Philly. And I've never been to Philly, but I don't know. You could say any day of the week and in Philly, and it would sound bad.
I always wanted to go, but like, I want to see how rowdy like a music crowd gets there.
Me too, because as you can imagine, Missouri doesn't have the biggest metal scene where we're at, but the shows, we always have bands telling us that Missouri goes hard. So I always wonder, is this just them being typical hype men, or do some of the other states just suck? Because we've had more than a few bands come here and be like, you guys are fucking wild. And I'm just like, really? Us? I don't know. It might just be because we have a lot of people who go and, like, I was at a show the other month, and we had, like, women who are, like, fucking the short, like, just incredibly short, tiny women in the pit with Goliaths of men. And they take
Joe
bows.
Was there?
Yeah, he actually was with us. we were right next to each other when this was happening. So yeah, but they will take bows just like anyone else, and like maybe that's why they think Missouri's fucking wild, because we've got these fucking tiny girls who are tougher than half the people in the room, just going in the pit, going wild.
Oh yeah, I see that at every show. Like I went to go see Jeff Rosenstock a couple weeks ago, and there was a girl who was like a head and a half shorter than I am, and I am not a tall person.
That's like 4.
And I had to like lower my arms because I was afraid of clocking some people in the pit like in the face. Because normally I keep my arms kind of boxer stance and just kind of bump off of everybody, bob and weave. But normally I can get away with it because I'm so short.
Yeah.
Like I'm actively trying not to clock anybody.
No, I get what you mean. I'm so tall in the pit, I have the opposite problem. I have to like I have to hunch down a bit, otherwise if I'm not guarding myself, because man, my first few shows I got hit in the junk so many fucking times just because that's like the natural hand height for so many people. Just fucking swinging arms, just bam, one after another.
I went to Andrew WK and I don't know, almost cartoony, like the movement of the pit parted in front of me, and I slipped on a puddle of beer, and then I smashed my nose, or I smashed my face onto our friend Jake, and like not only did I hit my nose, like my eyebrow piercing started bleeding.
Jesus.
Which I mean, it was Andrew WK, cause I'm like, and I was pretty pissed drunk, so I'm like, yeah, it fits the theme.
I think I remember seeing pictures from that night, actually.
Oh yeah, it was a wild night.
Or maybe I'm just thinking of when you did a cosplay of Andrew WK.
Oh yeah, that was a fun one.
I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah, that would have been fake blood.
To be fair, you're one of the few people in my life where I hear like Travis is covered in blood, I probably wouldn't blink. Which, I don't know how you want to take that, but it's true.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, like, at work, at home, oops. Just minor clumsy accidents. And sometimes I don't even realize it. But if I'm going harder to show, like, I try to be more careful now, because it's not I'm having fun, but them seeing me bleed isn't the ideal scenario for everybody.
Yeah, I get that. Trying to think. I'm having one of those moments where there was something you wanted to bring up, and then your mind just fogs. Because the conversation's like 5 steps away, and I cannot catch it. And that feeling awkwardly frustrates me, so I'm just going to be over here trying to remember.
Flow, my man.
Yeah, and I know I should let it go, but I'm going to be over here trying to figure out who I was 4 minutes ago instead.
That's a good rule of improv, right? Think about the joke from 5 minutes ago and then try and play off of it.
Normally I don't have to think about it. Normally I just don't think. Normally it's just banter, but every now and then I'll hold one in the back pocket. It's not long. It's not, you know. Whenever I try to force it like this, I usually bring it up and then sound like an utter dipshit. So I should probably let it go. This doesn't end well for me.
Yeah, I mean, now it's a bit, but I don't know how to save this bit for you, man.
No, it's fine. Well, that's the point of the bit, is you don't. You let me flounder.
Okay.
Let me, you know, it's just, you know, let you be Kratos, I'll be Boy. Watch me fail. Oh my god.
Can do.
I panned over. I can't show this, and I wish I could. This character who's drawn with a normal upper body, and they have the, like, everything below the belt is the size of a 10-year-old all of a sudden. His body shrunk
nice.
so fucking much. Holy shit.
You'll have
Take
to show
that
me
with
after this is done.
Oh, it's so fucking funny.
In fact, what time are we at? Yeah, I think this might be time to call it. I'm sorry I spent so long on this armor, but I just love how distinct it looks now from everything else.
You have Carl and his Mario cosplay with a DBZ scanner fighting a kaiju.
Yeah. I think I even spent too much time on this armor because I was going for like that Nintendo box art, painter style, and I think there's too much fine detail in it.
I mean, for the size it is, maybe. But I'm also looking at the comparison between the, faded round brushstroke of claws next to it.
Yeah.
That detail juxtaposition's a little damning, and I think it's funnier for it.
Well, that was a placeholder, because we cut off so early on Monday.
Yeah, I was not...
Not even early, I think we were just running long.
Yeah, our other prompts were. I don't remember what happened. I think we both took longer on the roulette or something.
Yeah,
or
and just the in-betweens, too.
Yeah, we dicked around on cats in space, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Alright,
well,
yeah, no,
anyway.
I'm cooler up here.
Yeah. So thanks for coming out, everybody. We love and appreciate you all so much. Truly.
Yeah, it's always...
Go follow Dakota at Wazihe on most socials. You won't see anything because he never posts anything.
That will be changing once I finish up this job.
Glad to hear. Follow us on socials. 10 Paces Show on most everything. 10 Paces on YouTube. And, I don't know, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and punch Nazis.
Yeah, I agree with all those. Also, some selfless shilling. If you guys have any friends you can convince to follow us or that might actually enjoy us, we're really close to hitting 50, which we need for affiliate. And then you can get sweet, sweet points, and we can gamba and have you fully addicted and drip fed like minions. That sounds great, doesn't it?
Ooh yeah, that's the goal, baby. We want to feed off your precious time.
It's our first step in our 8-step plan to get us to late-stage capitalism stream. Sorry, I don't have it. It's okay, it's okay.
Mark it on your bingo card, everybody.
I'm just gonna, time you out for a minute and let you think about that. Anyway, it's been a fun stream, everybody. I'll see you later.
See ya.